Ocean Pines is a vibrant residential community nestled on Maryland's eastern shore. With over 9 miles of waterfront property, amenities like an 18-hole championship golf course and a public yacht club, and a rich history dating back to 1968. Of course, if you live here, you probably know most of that. And if you don't, it's almost all apparent from your first visit. Each week on the Pines Cast, we work to bring out the ocean pines that might be less apparent. We celebrate the region, the amenities, and, most of all, the people who make and keep Ocean Pines a special place to live. Welcome to the Pines Cast, your source of news and insights about ocean pines and the official podcast of the Ocean Pines Association. This week we've got a real treat. We're speaking with Susan Mohler. She is the president of Town Cats. It is a group that helps rescue and then find homes for stray and feral cats in and around the Ocean Pines, Ocean City area. They've been doing great work for a long time, and you may have heard of them before, but I encourage you to listen all the way through. There's lots of great tips about how to deal with potential stray cats, and how to donate money if you'd like to donate money, because this is an awesome cause. They do lots of really great stuff, and I don't want to keep you from knowing it anymore, so I'm going to hand you over to Susan now, and I will check back in with you on the other side. So I heard about Town Cats like 1,000 years ago, and it's always been something that I thought was a really excellent program to help the area and to help these animals. And there had been all sorts of problems with cats in the past. So, but before we talk about your work with cats, let's get you to Ocean Pines. How long ago did you move to Ocean Pines, and when and why, and what brought you down here?
Well, I retired from across the bridge, and I bought my house in 2017, and I moved down here in 2019.
So you came down for vacation beforehand. What was the appeal? Why here? Why not Bethany or some other place?
I just have been coming to Ocean City for years, and I liked it, and I was looking for a place near here, and I liked Ocean Pines. I just don't really care for Delaware. It's just my personal preference.
Well, we'll get you on Wayne's World as soon as possible. And what did you used to do before you retired to Ocean Pines?
Well, I worked in radiology for 40 years at Sibley Hospital in Washington, D.C., and I've done many things in the radiology field, a regular diagnostic tech, CAT scan, mammography, the assistant director. I did a lot of stuff.
Did you do anything else besides Towncast to get involved in the community once you first arrived, or was that your first exposure to Ocean Pines? Tell me about getting involved with that.
Well, I liked cats. I had a cat find me, and that turned me on to cats. I was here, went to the farmer's market, and Town Cats has a table set up there every Saturday, except for right now in the winter. Mm. And, we ask for donations. And I said, I think I'd like to volunteer for them. So that's how it all started.
Wow, just out of the blue, just kind of on a whim.
Right.
So if you can explain to me and to the listeners who may not know what Town Cats are and what do they do broadly.
Okay, so Town Cats, Inc. has been around for 26. We're going on our 27th year. It was started by 2 women in Ocean City because there were a lot of cats running around. Cats are dumped here frequently because it's a resort town. People find a kitten, they're here for the summer, but they don't want to take it home. So they say, oh, cats can go outside. Just let it loose, which is not good because cats do what cats do, and they have kittens, and those kittens have kittens, and it's a big pyramid. It just expands. So they started Town Cats. We trap cats. We take cats from people who have to give them up because they're going into nursing homes or they die. The family doesn't want them. We trap, we spay and neuter them, and we have an adoption center up at PetSmart here.
What is being president like, and how did you get to become president?
It just fell into my lap, being the president. just happened. And as the president, I hold the monthly meetings. I do fundraising. I give talks if people want to find out about town cats. Just in case people don't know, a kitten at 4 months of age can become pregnant. So when she's 8 months old, so when she's 4 months and the gestation period is not very long, she has, let's say, a litter of 6 kittens. Now, what if they're all female? So when she's 8 months old, her kittens are 4 months old. So now she's getting ready to have another litter of kittens, and all her kittens are having kittens. So that's how this pyramid happens.
Wow. I
Where they
didn't realize it was that fast or that
Yes,
widespread.
absolutely. That's why it's so important to have your cats spayed and neutered. Our cats that go out for adoption are spayed or neutered.
What's the training like when you first start? Like when you came on board, what did people have to show you about what to do with your cats?
Well, I went to the monthly meetings, and then we have many volunteers. Some work at PetSmart. You go up there and get trained at PetSmart. If you want to learn how to trap, if that's something you'd like to do, you go with one of the volunteers who trap the cats. It's like a on-site learning.
And what is it? What do you learn to do at PetSmart?
You learn to clean the litter boxes, change the food and water. You play with the cats, socialize them some more because cats need to be socialized. You clean the floors because the housekeepers at PetSmart do not come into the playroom and into the adoption center. We kind of mop the floors.
That's interesting. I wasn't aware that the people at the cat place. I mean, I'll admit I don't spend as much time as I should in PetSmart, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But I never realized that the volunteers that they were exclusively volunteers and that they were running the whole show there.
Yes.
That's the case.
Yes, PetSmart gives us that space, part of PetSmart charities. So we work closely with them on adoption events and with the cats.
When you arrange for an adoption, when people come in and arrange for adoption, what did you learn about having to do that? What do people know about need to know about adopting cats from PetSmart?
Or we also have Blue Frog Farm Sanctuary. We have cats out there also in Parsonsburg. Well, what you do is people will put in an application at towncats.net, an adoption application. They fill it out, and then one of the counselors will call the individual, ask them a few questions, and then the counselor will call the vets. If they have pets, you got to verify that their pets are up to date on their shots, especially cats. They have to be up to date. And then you check do they live in a house that they own or do they live in an apartment? If they live in the house that's theirs, they bought it, you check the property records to make sure, in fact, that's true. Are they living with a relative? And if it's an apartment, you need to speak with the complex manager and make sure, is it okay to have cats? Some places say no and the people sneak them in. Or they're only allowed to have one cat. I had a lady who wanted a second cat. I called the landlord and she said, absolutely not. She's only allowed to have one cat. So
Wow.
Immediately, no cat for them. And then while you're talking to the prospective adopter, you also ask him, how do you feel about letting cats go indoors or outdoors? Our cats are indoors. They're supposed to be indoors. And no declawing. It's against the law and it's cruel to the cat.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I know it's cruel to the cat. It's like against the law in Maryland, or it's against your policy?
No, it's against the law. You cannot declaw a cat, and it's becoming more and more states doing that.
Well, I think I'm for that. It's not a law I need because it wasn't something that I had in mind.
Right.
I just didn't know that it was done that way. That's
Yes.
super cool to know.
Uh-huh.
Do people respond like poorly when you tell them that you can't have a cat? I mean, I guess it
Well,
must.
you kind of build up a rapport when you're talking to the people, and you can tell how they are. So sometimes we'll call them and say, I'm sorry, but your landlord said you can't have a cat. Or we send an email. and say, you're not matching our criteria. And, I'm sorry, but we can't give you a cat.
Mm. Do people who do get cats, when they come, what's that process like? Like, do you hand them the cat in a bag and say, or do they have to bring their own travel thing?
You call them and you say, hey, congratulations, you've been approved for this cat. So what day would you like to come? I'll meet you at PetSmart. We do all the adoptions at PetSmart. You need to bring a carrier, or you're going to have to buy a carrier. And you need to bring $95, cash, check, or charge. We do take charge. And then we'll go over the book. We tell them, look, they've had all their vaccinations, rabies, distemper. They're combo tested, so they don't have FELV and FIV, feline AIDS and distemper. And they're microchipped, which is very important. And they've been spayed or neutered.
And that's the $97 is kind of covers all that, right? Because you guys
it covers it all, and we're actually losing money because if we have a healthy cat, if the cat is healthy, and we do all the vaccines and the spay and neuter, usually costs us around $140.
How do you guys make up that difference?
We ask for donations. Sometimes people will give us extra money, or farmers market. We do fundraisers. This group totally lives on donations or grants. We have a few grants that we get, and it's all run by volunteers. We have no paid employees.
And when you say you do fundraisers, like do you do anything like weird, or is it just like?
No, we're going to have on February 24th at Burley Oak, we're going to have a fundraiser. And then on National Cat Lady Day, which is in April, I believe, usually we go over to Shoddy's Luna's, and they'll give us, a percentage of sales that night. And in July, the Ocean City Jeep Club, which does a lot of fundraising, June, they do a food and supply drive for us. And we have a big party for the Jeep Club only. And they bring all the items that they're donating. We do a big fundraiser out at Blue Frog Farm Sanctuary.
And that was the next thing that I wrote on my little paper here. What is Blue Farm Frog? Did you say Blue Frog?
Blue Frog.
Uh-huh.
BLUFROG, Blue Frog Farm Sanctuary in Parsonsburg.
So tell me about it. What's the deal with that?
So one of our volunteers decided that she wanted to have a little place to have the cats, because we don't really have a physical building such as the Humane Society. All the cats are in foster homes or in our homes, because there's no place. Where are we going to keep them and raise them and get them healthy? So she bought a piece of property. She lives on the property, and we now have 2 shelters out there, houses, and big outdoor catios, so the cats run around outside in a safe environment.
That is absolutely fantastic. I hadn't heard of that at all. And may I ask, so she bought the farm for the cats?
Well, she wanted to move from where she was.
Mm-hmm.
So she bought it, obviously, so she can live there and have a nice house. And because she wanted to help with the cats. So
that's really just the coolest thing.
It is.
And so that's where the supplies, because when you said supplies, I'm like, well, PetSmart doesn't need supplies. So
we do all the food and everything in there. They give us the kitty litter.
Oh, really? So you buy your own food for the cats?
Yes, we buy our food because we have a certain brand we like to give them. But PetSmart will give us food, but we prefer the brand that we give them, so we buy it.
Right. And now, do you let I guess when I adopt a cat, you let me know that they're used to that kind of food. I know very little about cats. I know that dogs have transitional.
Yes, you can give them whatever food you want when you get them home, but you should start out by feeding them what they've been fed, and then you switch them slowly.
Right, so that they don't notice.
Yes.
Otherwise, they can get persnickety.
Yes, or there'll be some other issues.
Hey there, listeners. Are you in the Ocean Pines area and looking for a pharmacy that goes above and beyond? Look no further than Tidal Health Home Scripts. Open 6 days a week, our knowledgeable pharmacists are ready to fill your prescriptions in just minutes. Plus, We offer free home delivery in the Ocean Pines area and have a super convenient drive-through window. Need over-the-counter items? We've got a large selection. And with our monthly sales, you'll find everything you need at great prices. Conveniently located at the North Gate of Ocean Pines, Tidal Health Home Scripts is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. To fill a prescription or arrange for a free home delivery, give us a call at 410-543-4769. That's 410-543-4769. Remember, that's Tidal Health Home Scripts, your trusted pharmacy partner.
Do you have any tips for taking care of cats or for letting you guys know if they see stray cats during the winter? Is it different in the winter than in the summer?
So right now it's winter. And the one thing I want to say is just because you see a cat running around outside, that does not mean it's a feral cat. What is a feral cat? Do you know?
I know what feral means, but I would much rather you tell me than me guess.
So a feral cat is a cat that runs from people. It won't let you pet it. It doesn't talk to you, as in meowing, and won't come up to you. It wants to be as far away from you as it can get. It will come if it knows you're the one who gives it the food, but it will never get close to you. A stray cat is a cat that has at some point been socialized by people. It's either lost, escaped, or dumped. And it will talk to you. It will come up to you, and and it wants to be with you. It doesn't want to be outside. So that's the one thing I see a lot of times people post here, on Ocean Pines News and Info on Facebook. I found this cat. He's running around. He's coming up to me. I gave him some food. The best thing you can do is, if it will let you pick it up, is to secure it and put it in your bathroom or something and check it for a chip, because it may be lost. And right now, while it's cold out, if you have a colony that you're feeding of cats, you can make, and we make them and ask for a donation for these shelters. You get a tub, a big tub. Usually they're dark colored, solid colored. And we line them with styrofoam and those Mylar recovery blankets. And then we put straw in there. Straw is important because it holds moisture and it doesn't hold, it promotes heat from the body heat of the cat. And it does not promote moisture. You do never want to put a blanket in an outdoor house or use hay, because they will get wet, and the cat, if it's really cold, can actually die. It'll get frozen.
Right, because the wet part of the blanket will freeze.
Yes, and they'll freeze.
And when you have a cat, let's say, where do you check for? I've never checked for a chip. So
you would go, we actually have a chip reader, or you could take it to the Humane Society or to a vet and ask them to please scan it for a chip.
All right, but I can't just look at its ear and know that it's chipped.
No. The chip is like...
I was so confused. I was like, how do you check a cat for a chip?
Yeah, no. It's like a dog has a microchip. It's about the size of a grain of rice. And they just run a wand over it, and a number will come up, and then they can see who the company is where the cat is registered. And it's also important to microchip your cats or your dogs and make sure you keep up with the information. If you move to one house to another or to another state, you have to update that information. Otherwise, it goes back to the other place where you lived.
That's something that's important that I wanted to ask you about as well. So how often do you guys end up finding out that it's a chipped cat and returning it? And do people ever say, oh, I didn't think you'd ever find me. I don't want this cat.
Yes, it has happened. I'd say about 10 times.
Wow.
Some people want the cat back, and some people, they don't want the cat back. And then we take it and we get it. If we don't have the medical records, we got to start fresh. Rabies, distemper, get them fixed if they weren't fixed. And then we put it up for adoption.
So, and when you do that, do you have to erase their chip or reprogram their chip?
We will reprogram it to town cats. And we also ask them, to sign a surrender form. We don't want them coming back and say, hey, that was my cat.
they're a summertime friend. They come back and they're like, all right, now I want the cat back in the
Nope.
summer.
Nope.
And it won't come in the house.
We're more than happy to reunite people with their cats.
And that's happened, you say, about 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
So it's pretty uncommon. I mean, do you know about how many cats you guys rescue a year?
Oh, this year we've already done over 200.
Wow.
Well over 200. And we're just a little group, a little rescue group,
Do you cap out? Like, at some point, if someone calls and says, there's this stray cat or feral cat, do you say, well, we don't have any more room in the shelter? Like, how do you manage that?
Well, if you were to call me and say, I have this cat, I found it, or my dad passed away, I have the cat. I said, can you hold on to the cat? Right now, we're capped out. And most of the shelters are also. So out at Blue Frog, we have about 130 cats out there.
Ming.
All available for adoption. We could always take you. You can always go out if you're looking for a cat and see if you like one out there, or go to PetSmart. We also ask people, you have this cat, can you hold on to him for a little while? And then when an opening comes available, we'll call you and we'll bring the cat in.
Oh, that's interesting. So you have almost kind of like a wait list. It's like a pre-foster program.
Yes. And we ask people to foster. We need fosters desperately, because we just get so many phone calls. I need help. I have this litter of kittens. What do I do?
And so tell me about the foster program. How does that work?
So if you say you're going to foster a cat, you found a kitten, one of the volunteers will call, ask you some questions. Go check your house out. Make sure you're set up properly. We have crates. We have crates to put the cat in, because you don't want to just bring it in and let it run around, especially if it was outside and you have other cats, because they could be carrying some disease. And they're going to get your cat, which hopefully is up to date on its shots. It might become sick. So, then we'll get it to the vet and make sure it has, starting with some shots, rabies and distemper. So we help the whole way along. We don't just say here.
Just hang on to that cat.
Right.
Oh, that is so awesome. Do you know, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, and if you don't know, it's fine. Do you know about how many foster families you have? Do you have like regular foster families, or
we have regulars, and then sometimes, hey, you're a one and done. So I don't know, maybe 15.
And what does it take if somebody wanted to sign up to be a foster family? They
would go to towncats.net and fill out the foster application.
And then do you bring the cat to them? Do they bring it to you? Do they come and get it from you?
It depends on if we have the cat or they have the cat. Usually,
good point.
Usually we will bring the cat to you, because we want to make sure it's all set up properly.
Excellent. And I do want to ask you, because I know we mentioned before we got started about any times you've been lost in Ocean Pines driving. Do you have any stories about getting lost looking for something in Ocean Pines?
Well, before I moved down here, a friend and I, we would drive around and look at houses. When we were here on vacation or just come for the weekend, we would drive around. And one time it was late at night, and we're just looking at night, and it's like, where the heck are we in here? Because it's so dark, and you can't read those brown street signs.
And how long did it take? Do you recall how long it took you to find your way back?
I can't remember. It seemed like forever. And then we even got lost on a Saturday going to yard sales, and we had to ask somebody, how do we get out of here?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure that happens a lot.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, we are kind of coming up against it now. So before I let you go, I want to ask, is there anything that you thought I would ask that I didn't ask, or something that you wanted to say, but I didn't give you the opportunity to say it?
Well, I'd just like to invite everybody, if you're interested and you think you might want to become a volunteer with us, which we would love. Our monthly meetings are the first Wednesday of every month at 1 p.m. at the Ocean Pines Library. They're open to anybody.
And can you tell everybody what are the meetings like? So I come to my first meeting, and what happens?
So they're about 2 hours long, and usually they're lively, but not,
rowdy.
Yeah,
rowdy. The rowdy cat meeting.
So we talk a little bit. This is about how much money we have. we have to watch our expenses. If we talk about the farmers market or any fundraisers that are coming up, I tell people, I say, it's your birthday. You're on Facebook. Do a birthday fundraiser, even $500. We just, like I said, we survive on donations. So any way we can make money. And the money pretty much all goes to the cats.
And so along those lines, one more time, because people can donate on the website?
Oh, yes. Well? If you go to towncats.net and you can hit the donate button. And we also have a wish list for, the food that we use from Chewy. You can have it, and it gives you the address where to send. And also, if you go on Facebook to Town Cats of Ocean City, Maryland, because there is a Town Cats in California. And sometimes we get applications for cats. And it's like, what cat is this?
I'm not bringing your cat to Fresno.
And you can see our available adoptable cats on the adoption album. So, and you can see the things we do. It talks about, when we have adoption events.
Right. And so people can stay all up to date. And I will put all of those in the show notes, links to everything you just said there.
May I say?
Please.
Yes. So especially for elderly people, if you have cats, really for anybody, you need to have a plan in place. If something happens to you, where is your cat or cats? Where are they going? Are they going to Billy because he said he loves cats and he wants your cat? Or are the family members going to dump them outside? They're on their own. I mean, what's going to happen to the cats? So need a plan in place.
That is so fascinating. So for my day job, I actually cover the funeral industry. And the list of things that you have to do, you should really just start getting ready for after your death, like on your 10th birthday. It's like, happy 10th birthday. Okay, this is all the stuff you have to do before you die. So you better get it in order now.
All right. Can I say one more thing?
Please.
We also have this program that we're really excited, and we've had 2 successful placements, Seniors for Seniors. There are nursing homes or assisted living where the people are allowed to have a pet, a cat or a dog. Somebody needs to be able to take care of it. So what we do is we have seniors and they want a cat, and we have older cats. Nobody wants an older cat. I shouldn't say that. A lot of people prefer kittens. But if we have Seniors for Seniors, the older cat goes with this person. They sit on their lap. We make sure it's a lap-loving cat.
Mm.
And we've had 2 successful placements. So, and the cat will come back to us. We retain ownership of the cat, but the people are responsible for the feeding of the cat, and we take care of the medical and all that.
Right. But they also, the litter is always the fun part.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck to you with that program. That sounds like it's a fantastic way to it's like the other side of the pet therapy. It's part of pet therapy, which is something that's very popular now. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your story.
Yes. Okay.
The Pines Cast is an Ocean Pines Association production. It was written and edited by me, Tony Russo. Executive producer, Josh Davis. Please subscribe wherever you are listening now, or follow if you're on Apple. If you like the show, please tell someone else about it, because that is the best way to get the word out. Every week I say it, and this is a week, so I'm saying it. I would love to have your feedback, and I would love to keep this conversation going. So if you care to email me, you can do that at bytonyrusso@gmail.com. That is bytonyrusso@gmail.com. If, for example, there's a story you want to tell, but you don't want to be on the show to tell it, or there's a story you want me to find out about and have someone else tell it, shoot me an email. I'll get it all worked out. And of course, we would love to have your ratings and reviews on the app of your choice, but mostly we want you to listen to the show. We want you to like the show. And as I said, we would very much like it if you told other people about it. You can also send along comments or questions that we will address in future shows as is possible and appropriate. And that is all for this week on the Pines Cast.